friends, Damron here. In today's video, I want to talk about how to stay motivated and consistent with your healthy habits and exercise routine. I know life can get busy and it feels easy to just kind of let it fall off, and then you feel bad and shame and guilt, and then you want to get back on the wagon. It becomes this perpetual cycle of on again, off again. So in this video, I want to teach you how to stay on for the long term. If you have not subscribed yet, hit that button to be notified anytime I post new content related to women's health, hormones, and holistic health. We all know how hard it can be to stick to a routine. Building up consistency, especially when life gets stressful, is essential in achieving our goals, getting the results that we want. So let's go ahead and chat about how exactly to do that. Tip number one is to set realistic goals. First off, we want to make sure that our goals actually are attainable in the season of life we're in. I work with women across the board in all kinds of different seasons of their life, whether it's postpartum, perimenopause, going through big life transitions like divorce, moving, career changes, etc. These are not the best times to have really, really lofty goals. I think it's very important to have the self-awareness and mindfulness around us to kind of know what season of life we're in, where life is directing our attention to, and what we actually have the capacity to do. Now, even if life is extremely stressful, that doesn't mean that we have to throw everything out the window. But it does mean that maybe it's not the best time to set this really lofty goal. Maybe it's time to just set kind of like a maintenance goal and keep things going at a maintaining type of a place instead of this lofty goal. Now, I've talked about this a lot, but when we do this, when we just sort of like keep things status quo and set a little bit of a less lofty goal, that'll help us get momentum so that when life does ease up a little bit, we'll have that momentum going so then we can reach that lofty goal much easier than if we were starting from square one. When we start with small, achievable goals, that also helps give us a little bit of confidence that we can do things, and that also helps with that momentum piece as well. So I've talked about this in the last several videos that we've done here, but one of the biggest detriments to staying consistent and motivated is this all or nothing mindset. How many of you out there have been stuck in the trap? I know I certainly have, with saying, okay, I want to lose all of this weight and get really strong and really toned and be this like perfect wellness individual. And so I start with going to the gym 6 days a week when I had been consistently going like 3 or 4. I, set this lofty protein goal. I set this lofty carbohydrate goal. I set this lofty step goal. I set this goal of like perfect sleep. And pretty soon it just feels like I am making this my full-time job because it's so hard. And then a kid gets sick, work gets stressful or busy, and it all falls off, right? Because we don't have the capacity at that point to necessarily pick one, because we're in this all or nothing mindset. Either we're doing everything or we're doing nothing. And I have so many patients that come to me that say, oh my gosh, I was doing so good after our call for like 3 weeks, and then this happened and it all just fell off. And so part of my job is to work through this all or nothing mindset and say, okay, even though like 4 of the things fell off, can we just keep like 1 of the things going? Because that will, again, build this momentum piece. Being consistent is all about keeping the momentum going, however slow that might be. It doesn't have to be really fast or really hard or anything like that. It's just about maintaining some basic habits so that when, like I said, life eases up a bit, you can increase that if you so desire. Tip number 2 is to create a plan. I know for myself, even being a personal trainer for the last 18 years, I have to have a plan for my workout and like multiple days. I hate and am so unsuccessful when I just wake up and I'm like, okay, I need to work out today, and have no idea what I'm going to do or what that looks like. I need to wake up and be able to open up an app, a PDF, a plan somewhere and say, okay, this is the workout that I'm doing, so that it's mindless. If I have to start scouring Pinterest or start thinking about, okay, what programming am I doing today? What exercises, what reps, all of that, it even just becomes overwhelming. And then I am like, okay, well, I don't even have time to work out now because this took all my time planning this out. So find yourself, and that's just one example of how I use a plan in my own life for workouts, but it also can be the same for literally any other goal that you have. having a step-by-step guide for yourself or something that's going to tell you what to do, and creating things that are less decisions and a little bit more mindless can actually be very, very helpful. I also think with that plan, like scheduling the days. So I don't say to myself, like, I'm going to try to get in 3 days a week, and then each day I can just be like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll just do it tomorrow. I know on my calendar which days I'm working out and which workouts I'm doing. And that's been immensely helpful for me, and I think a lot of my patients as well. So I would, any of these healthy habits that you're going to do, whether that's go on a walk at lunch, do a workout, prep food, go to sleep earlier, go to a therapist appointment, whatever, you want to have it scheduled on your calendar like it is a priority, like it's something like anything else. We put our kids' sports on there, we put work functions, we put extracurricular things, we put social functions on our calendar. These things, if they're going to be a priority, need to be on the calendar as well, that you know you're doing this no matter what. Tip number 3 is to find an accountability partner. Staying consistent and motivated, it can be so much easier when you know that you have somebody relying on you. This can be a paid professional like myself. It could be a workout group. It could be just a friend that you're doing stuff with, whatever you want to, but having someone to share your goals, your progress, and just keep you going is immensely helpful. Studies have shown so many times that accountability really does move the needle so much faster than people who don't have any accountability. Tip number 4 is to mix it up a little bit. Doing the same thing every single day can get really boring. Now, this is a little bit of a nuanced conversation because I actually think with food, again, you have to look at your own personal preferences and psychology here, but I actually think that having a rotation of like a few different meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinners can be really helpful at kind of just getting you in the habit and eliminating some of the decision fatigue. We have so many decisions to make each and every day that we sort of get fatigued from that. And then it just becomes like, oh, I don't even know what to eat anymore. I don't know what to do. I think this typically happens around, like I said, workouts and food, specifically in the healthy living space. But so I do think that having kind of a consistent rotation of this is what I'm doing can be helpful. But I also do think that if you're feeling like you're just getting really bored and frustrated with things, like trying a new recipe, trying a new workout class, trying a new routine, a new time of day, if things just aren't feeling good to you to begin with, like they feel very resistant, or you're getting bored and tired of the monotony, then try to just mix it up a little bit to see if you can bring a little bit more like fresh perspective to things. I know with my own workouts that I am good for a while, but I definitely get bored after several months of doing the same kind of workouts and things. And so I, periodically crave like a little bit of different types of lifts or different things. And I will try to kind of change it up a little bit and find a different program that I like, try a different trainer's program or whatever. And that always helps me kind of spice it up a little bit and keep me a little bit more interested. And then tip number 5 is to celebrate your wins. So many of us are always just looking at the next thing. I have so many patients that lose 5 pounds and like, yeah, but I wanted to lose 20 pounds. It's like, okay, great. That's like a fourth of the way there though. And you've made some of these lasting changes. You've started to get the momentum ball rolling a little bit. That is something to be celebrated. So celebrating your progress, no matter how small, can really keep you inspired and motivated to keep going because we're starting to see results. So take time to acknowledge your achievements and be proud of yourself for the progress that you've made. I know this is a tough thing for me too because of being a little bit more type A, I always want to just kind of strive for like the next thing, but it is something that's very, very important to do, to stop and kind of smell the roses with the current accomplishments. Otherwise, we're just going to be constantly chasing the next bigger and better thing, and that also gets really exhausting. And the last little like bonus thing that I want to tell you guys is to create these things as habits because motivation wanes. There are many days, in fact, most days, that I don't really want to leave my cozy bed in the morning and get up and work out. But I know that that is just something that I do. It's scheduled. I know it's something that I like to do after it's over. I feel better. I would be disappointed in myself if I didn't do it. Now, you want to make sure that you're being compassionate to yourself about this. And if you really do feel like misery and garbage and you slept really bad or you're sick or whatever, being compassionate to yourself is important. But there's a lot of times that we just don't feel like something that's actually going to be very helpful for us. I don't always feel like drinking my protein smoothie, but I'm always very grateful that I got in that much protein in the morning pretty effortlessly. Instead of eating like a bowl of cereal. Like I know that long term, that protein shake and that workout is gonna serve me much better than laying in bed and eating a bowl of cereal. Over time, there's gonna be a drastic difference in how I feel with those two habits. So when we talk about habits, I encourage you to pick one or two biggest dial movers in your life. So look at your goals. And last week we talked all about certain habits that we can do for healthy lifestyles and how to be consistent there too. But pick one or two really big dial movers for your goal, whether that's mental health, sleep, hormones, diet, nutrition, muscle building, weight loss, whatever that looks like for you. Pick those one or two things and really hone in on that. And then once those two things become a little bit more second nature, not so hard or daunting for you, then we can kind of move on. We'll have a little bit more mental capacity to keep moving forward and building extra habits. Pretty soon you'll literally have a different lifestyle because you'll have created so many different habits. But habit creation does not happen overnight. And I think so many people get motivated like one day and their motivation's really high and they just like do all these things. And like I said, motivation is not a great strategy to rely on or willpower because it always goes away. We don't live a life full of motivation and willpower all the time. And so we have to have discipline and habits to fall back on when those things are lacking. So focus on slow habit change, and that will, like I said, over time, allude to a completely different lifestyle for you, one that's more positive and one that supports your goals better. I hope that this was helpful for you guys on staying consistent and motivated with your healthy habits. If you have not hit the subscribe button yet, hit that button to be notified anytime I post new content related to women's health, hormones, or holistic health. I also have a free on-demand training called How to Increase Energy and Have Fewer Mood Swings by Balancing Your Hormones without adding to your already too full plate. I know so many of you, like I said, want to just do all the things and then you're like, nope, I don't have the capacity. I'm driving my kids everywhere. I have all this work to do. I'm stressed. So I love to make wellness, hormones, women's health really, really simplified and empower and educate women on exactly how to do that. So this training does all of those things by talking about what your doctor might be missing in your hormones, how to be calm, cool, and collected all day without snapping at your family, and then also how to have better energy, mood, sleep, and periods by understanding actually what's going on and why you're experiencing that. So go download that at LIABLE.com/training. I will leave the link in the description below for that. But again, free on demand and created it just for you guys. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and I'll be back next week.